आज मुझे सब नई नई शक्लें लग रही है. लास्ट टाइम आई taught behavioral disorders. I can hardly recognize any of you today. So today's topic is adolescence. It's a very short topic because it's not something that you need a PPT to teach. I think all of us have gone through this stage of life and we are very well aware what changes happen during this phase of life, right? So there are certain things that you all must be aware about before. So जो stages वगैरह हैं SMR staging और वो सब I'm not going to go into detail. You must be having Ghai at home, so you can go home and look. So it's a very short lecture of just like 25 slides. ठीक है, जल्दी free कर दूँगी. So what is adolescence? Hmm? What is adolescence? Anybody? आगे आ जाओ ना. मैं कोई पत्थर फेंक के थोड़ा ना मारूंगी इधर से. आगे आ जाओ. आगे आओ. इधर आ जाओ. Come on this side. और एक बार पेपर पे मुझे अटेंडेंस दे देना. So it's a stage of transition from childhood to adulthood. And what is the period of adolescence? Anybody? 10 to 13? So that's early adolescence, okay. So adolescence period is from 10 to 19 years. 13 is like the early stage of adolescence that you're talking about. And it's further divided into three stages. That is early, that is from 10 to 13 years. Can you hear me? Because it's on this side and I have to actually speak. Mid adolescence is from 14 to 16 years and late is from 17 to 19 years. Hello, you in the grey t-shirt. You don't not you're not interested in the class? नहीं तो आप एकदम खोए हुए हो कहीं ख्यालों में पता नहीं. Are you thinking about what you passed over it? So there are a lot of changes, that occurs during adolescence. It's physical growth, physiological growth, secondary sexual characteristics, emotional development, cognitive development, and social development. Actually सुनने में बहुत वैसा लगता है, but it's not an easy stage because my daughter is in early adolescence, so I know how difficult it is to handle that age group. So these are the changes that adolescence goes through, you know. All this is just a slide, where all this changes. It's just a depiction of whatever is happening and whatever changes one goes through. So they say that adolescence is a period of stress, strain, storm, and strife. What do you mean by that? Anybody? Hmm? आप लोग इतने सुस्त सुस्त क्यों हो? मुझे लगा टॉपिक सुस्त है. मैं सुस्त हूँ. आप मुझसे भी ज़्यादा सुस्त. क्या हुआ? नॉट इंटरेस्टेड? नहीं पढ़ना? हाँ. होता है ना. Actually adolescence is that stage where as soon as you enter that, when the child enters that particular stage, they think that, oh, they are mature enough to understand everything, you know so they don't want to listen to anybody who is telling them. They think whatever thought process they are having is right, whatever their peer groups are telling is always right. So they really don't listen to the parent at all. पीयर प्रेशर बहुत ज़्यादा होता है कि फ्रेंड ने जो बोल दिया वही सही है, बाकी आप जो बोल रहे हो आप तो पागल हो, आप तो बेवकूफ़ हो, यू नो. It's actually true. So adolescence is also called period of insanity. आ जाओ यार, अटेंड करनी है तो मैं अटेंडेंस चाहिए तो. पीछे ही जाके बैठना है। हम्म, पीछे ही जाके बैठना है। So it's a period of temporary insanity. What do you mean by insanity? हम कहते हैं ना बेवकूफ पंती करते हैं. It's a period of 4S. They say that stress, storm, and stream and strife. You know, and increased compassion patterns, love, anger, jealousy, all this kind of emotions, emotion of love, auto egotism. What is that? What does that mean? Egotism. सिर्फ खुद के बारे में सोचना, दुनिया क्या कह रही है उसकी परवाह ना करना. Just totally engrossed in oneself. Okay. So it is this. So it adolescence begins with the appearance of secondary sexual characteristics, and it ends with somatic growth is completed and when the individual is psychologically mature. So through formal operational thinking, adolescent can also deal with a problem, not in the early stages, not in early or mid, but in late adolescence definitely. You know, they become mature, they become career orientated, they start thinking about the future. But early में बिल्कुल ही नहीं होते. Early में तो it's totally insanity, as they say. You guys must be thinking, what stage are you in? Huh? Huh? So let us go ahead with the physical aspects of adolescence. So physical aspects, first is the pubertal changes, right? So puberty in girls, it starts with telar. What is telar? Hmm? I think everybody knows what is telar. There's nothing to shy of or something. You know, you can all our medicals we can discuss, right? Telar is, yeah, it's development of breast, followed by pubarch. Pubarch is the pubic hair, and subsequently menarche, which is the last one. Okay, so that is around. So it depends. Like if we compare the Indian population or if we compare the Western population, both have different age groups. Some say it is like 10 to 13. Some for some it is 10 to 16. So it all depends कि menarche किस age पे achieve करती हैं girls. Okay. So these are the stages. ये MCQs में भी आता है. Stellar, pubic and menarche. आपने पढ़ा होगा पहले भी. And earliest changes in boys is increase in testicular size. Okay. And that occurs around like 9 to 14 years of age, and it's followed by pubic hair and lengthening of the penis. Now sperma starts at mid adolescence. Okay. So these are the physical aspects. There are lots of things that will be dealing in the physical aspects. Next comes the physical growth. So boys gain at around like 20 to 30 centimeters of height, and peak growth occurs during later stages of puberty. And girls gain about 16 to 28 centimeters, and peak growth velocity occurs before attainment of menarche. बहुत ज़्यादा शूट करती है before they attain their menarche. It continues till 17 years of age, but then peak is before attaining of their menstrual cycle. Now, growth spurt affects both your distal skeletal first, and then it is followed by enlargement of limb, extremities, and then trunk size बाद में increase होती है. पहले तो extremities increase होती है height, और फिर बाद में आपका trunk enlargement होता है. Weight again, growth spurt begins earlier in girls compared to boys, from 10 to 14 years, while it is like this thing. मैंने क्या लिखा है ये? That's it. That's the wrong one. उसको मत पढ़ना अगले वाले sentence को. Growth spurt begins early in girls, 10 to 14 years, and in male नहीं नहीं नहीं, this is a different state. Male gains around like 7 to 30 kg weight while female gains at around, while it is the second one is boys not girls, okay. ये वाला जो है वो, so male gains around like 7 to 30 kg weight while female gains around 7 to 25. बहुत सारे changes आते हैं इसमें. All of us know what changes one goes through during adolescence, right? It's the facial hair, your voice changes in males, their underarm hair, pubic hair, ejaculations, and similarly in girls, underarm hair, breast development, your hip size increase. I mean, it grows in transverse diameter, your pubic, then ovaries, pubic hair, and finally menstruation. So appearance of secondary sex characteristics, it increase. It's in boys it is increase in the size of the genitalia, swelling of the breast which occurs initially but later on it is static. Then growth of pubic, axillary, facial and chest hair, change in the voice, rapid growth of shoulder breadth, and production of spermatozoa. आप लोगों को हंसी आ रही होगी, बट व्हेन चिल्ड्रन कम, व्हेन पेरेंट्स कम विद कंप्लेंट 14-15 ईयर्स के आ जाते हैं, बिल्कुल भी सेकेंडरी सेक्सुअल कैरेक्टर्स डेवलप नहीं होते, देन यू हैव टू डू अ डिटेल्ड इवैल्यूएशन. इट्स नॉट समथिंग दैट इज़ ईजी दैट वन गोज थ्रू, सो वट एवर इज़ द नॉर्मल प्रोसेस ऑफ डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, तो इट्स लाइक अ ब्लेसिंग. ना हो तो इट्स अगेन अ कर्स, बिकॉज जो हार्मोन उनको लेने पड़ते हैं बाद में, एंड to go through that stress, it's not easy for any parent or for any child, because जब वो दूसरों को देखते हैं अपने पीयर ग्रुप्स को कि उनका ऐसा सब डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, वो अपने आप को अलग वो उसमें पाते हैं सिचुएशन में कि why it's not happening with them, right? Again, secondary characteristics in girls increase in transverse diameter of the pelvis, development of the breast, change in vaginal secretion, again growth of pubic and axillary hair, menstruation. First menstruation is called menarche, right? Again ये जो है 12 to 13 years, it's western data. अपने इंडिया में it's nowadays it's as early as 9 years. People have even said that nowadays they even see in around like 8-year-old female, okay. So it all varies because of the kind of lifestyle that we are dealing with nowadays. Endocrine system, temporarily imbalance of the endocrine system in early adolescence, and sex counts become functional. This is the staging that you all have to know. ये सारे stages है. It is also known as sexual maturity staging, or it is also known as the Tanner staging. तो जब भी पीडियाट्रिक ओपीडी में कोई बच्चा आता है, अगर हमें देखने होते हैं, जैसे कल ही एक बच्चा आया, फादर कहता है कि इसकी पेनाइल लेंथ नहीं बढ़ रही है, तो हम बच्चे को एग्जामिन करेंगे और फिर हम स्टेजेस में देखेंगे कि व्हाट स्टेज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट दैट चाइल्ड इज इन, राइट. सो दिस इज द टैनर स्टेजिंग. सो इट्स देयर इन ओपी गई. आप जाके पूरा स्टेजिंग यू कैन रीड, राइट. I don't think I need to explain this. It's something very theoretical. We all have to know this. So let's go to the social development. So social development, child looks for his or her own identity. He, like, who is in relation to the family and society. That is, he develops a sense of identity. If the adolescent is unable to formulate a satisfactory identity from multi identification, तो फिर वो उसको confusion develop हो जाता है कि where exactly he belongs to. So this is a theory according to Erikson. So adolescent, it shows interest in other sex. He looks for close friendships. सब changes आते हैं. So let's go to the cognitive and social developmental stages. So it is again further divided into 3 stages: early, mid and late adolescence. social development. What happens in the early phase? कॉन्क्रीट थिंकिंग मॉडल ऑफ चाइल्डहुड, जैसा बचपन में सोचते आए हैं वैसा ही वो सोचेंगे। इनिशियली तो वैसे ही थॉट प्रोसेस रहेगी, धीरे 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 वो चेंज होने लगती है। दे आर वेरी इम्पल्सिव, जो करना है वो करना ही है, गलत है सही है पता नहीं है, बस करना है। इम्पल्सिव, दे हैव लिमिटेड एबिलिटी टू परसीव फ्यूचर इम्प्लीकेशन, के जो हम कर रहे हैं इसका नतीजा क्या होगा, इसके रेपरकशंस क्या होंगे, दे डोंट नो दैट। ठीक है, and they don't know the repercussions of their current behavior right now. Again, the mid phase is again emotional autonomy. It starts to think beyond self. पहले तो जैसा चाइल्डहुड में थॉट प्रोसेस होता है इनिशियली वो रहता है अर्ली फेज में, फिर धीरे धीरे चेंज होने लगता है। फिर मिड फेज में दे स्टार्ट थिंकिंग बियॉन्ड देयर सेल्फ, बिगिनिंग ऑफ एब्स्ट्रैक्ट रीजनिंग, दे आर एबल टू क्वेश्चन। आपने कभी देखा होगा कि 10-11 साल का बच्चा कभी क्वेश्चन नहीं करता है, जो भी आप बोल रहे हो वो सुन लेता है चुपचाप। बट इफ यू सी द सेम चाइल्ड इन लाइक 14-15 year old, definitely they'll start asking for reasons, they'll start thinking. So it starts to think beyond self, beginning of abstract reasoning, and they are able to question and analyze. And this is the stage where they get detached from their family. So when I read this, I kind of got scared because my daughter is going to come into this stage. Acceptance by peer group becomes very important for them. Okay, so I'll give an example. So nowadays, everybody is on Instagram and Snapchat and whatever. So my daughter, she asked me that, can I be on can I have a Instagram account? So I said, why do you need one? She's like, all my friends are on Instagram and I want to open mine. So I said, no, you can still wait. So what she did is like she opened her own Insta account, and I did not know that because I'm not an Insta myself, and I came to know through my sister that she already opened her account. And then when I my sis somehow she came to know while she was on her phone. So my sister, when she went off to sleep, she kind of happened to look, okay, what's going on, and she counter questioned her in the morning when she got up in the morning. Ki, Janvi, are you on Insta? She said, no, no, Mercy, I'm not. It's like, then who is this? Whose account is this? Like, I don't know whose account is this. So my sister told me that she's been doing this. So then when she came, and then I questioned her that why did you do that? You don't need to lie to me. You could have told me that I really want to open my own account. So I said, why did you lie to me? You would not allow me, Mama. And all my friends are on Insta. And how would I go ahead then? I feel left out. So it's actually very important acceptance by peer group. ये वास्तव में होता है. They feel so pressurized because everybody, they will follow the trend. जो बाकी सब बच्चे करें वही उनको करना. I think we still do that, right? कहीं ना कहीं हम भी इस स्टेज से कभी पूरी जिंदगी बाहर नहीं निकल पाते हैं. So this is just an example I'm giving you that how important for them it is to be accepted by their peer groups. So acceptance by peer group becomes very important, and sexual experimentation. Everybody knows this, that what really happens during this age, right? I don't need to tell you in detail. बच्चे फोन पे क्या क्या देखते हैं. Then comes the late phase of social development. इसमें क्या होता है? Moral values and strong self identity is established. They are able to suppress. क्या टाइम हुआ? हाँ? If you're coming for attendance, then don't come. क्या हो गया? तो बेटा जल्दी उठना होता है ना. हाँ, आ जाओ, बंद करो. ओहो, एक और आ रहा है. Insane. Oh, so many of them coming only for attendance, right? क्या पढ़ा रही हूँ मैं? How will you know what am I teaching? हाँ हाँ, वैसे भी आता तो होगा ही सब कुछ ना, पढ़ने की क्या ज़रूरत है? तो फिर इतना लेट क्यों आते हो? इट्स ऑलरेडी 9:30। अटेंडेंस चाहिए तो मत आया करो प्लीज़, बिकॉज किसी ना किसी दिन आप भी यहाँ खड़े होके पढ़ाओगे आगे जाके, राइट? तो you can imagine how one feels when you're standing there and teaching, right? So we are just talking about the social, cognitive and social developmental stages of adolescence. So today's topic is about adolescence. Okay, hello, I'm talking to you three. You just entered. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है जो आप लिखोगे. there's nothing there's nothing to write. We all are familiar with all these things that I'm going to teach. So late phase is moral values and strong self identity. They're able to suppress impulsivity. Like पहले जो नहीं कर पाते थे suppress कि नहीं जो करना है वो करना है, but later stages में they become understanding and they're able to suppress and are less affected by peer pressure. Initially बहुत ज़्यादा high होता है, फिर बाद में नहीं होता है. They become career oriented. As I told you before that late stage में they become, because that's this stage around like 11th 12th grade, and you know you're going for your future perspective, so definitely career oriented हो ही जाते हैं बच्चे. Long term planning start हो जाती है, God knows in what terms that you must be knowing. Again, peers, as adolescence approaches, the family's influences diminishes, right? The peer group becomes an important social force. So the need for peer approval can affect decisions concerning rather every aspect, you know, not only physical, but even when you're when they're dealing with the educational aspect also. If somebody is participating in the school, they will. If nobody is, they say no, nobody is, so I don't want to go, you know. एक बच्चा खेल रहा है टेनिस, तो सब जाएंगे क्योंकि वहाँ पे आ रहे हैं, पहले से डिसाइड कर लेते हैं कि आज आना है. एक कहेगा नहीं कल नहीं आ रहे, तो सारे बंक मारेंगे क्लास, राइट? Intellectual or mental characteristics. So development of intelligence, increase in attention span, development of memory जो बचपन में नहीं होती है. आप किसी को पूछो अभी 5 साल के बच्चे को या कुछ, उन्हें थोड़ा ना याद रहेगा कि वो बचपन में क्या किया है, बट डेफिनेटली व्हेन यू कम थ्रू दिस स्टेज दे रिमेंबर, यू नो. So कोई भी बच्चा, if you know he or she is detached from any parent or any somebody who's very close to them in early childhood, it's easier for them, but the later it is, the more difficult it is for them, right? Development of imagination and widening of interest. So what are the problems that are faced by adolescents? क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम फेस कर सकते हैं adolescents? अब आपने इतना सब कुछ देखा, तो क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है उनको? हम्म, अरे कुछ तो बोलो, मैं कोई एग्जाम थोड़ा ना ले रही हूँ. हम्म, एनीबडी? क्या फेस कर सकते हैं? If you ask a mother, this is the most difficult stage to deal with. 10-11 साल तक तो बहुत अच्छा अच्छा लगता है, फिर बाद में जो घर में स्ट्रेस बढ़ता है ना, वो सिर्फ एडोलेसेंस के टाइम पे बढ़ता है. And problems faced by adolescents, they are under immense pressure because of rapid changes in their hormonal mellow, changing ideas and concepts about the world, having to cope up with the expectation from the society, and the need to establish their own identity कि मैं क्या हूँ और मैं कौन हूँ, राइट? पहले तो नहीं होता, बट जैसे जैसे बड़े होते हैं वैसे हो जाता है. So they also go through lot of health issues, social problems. हमारे कंट्री में इतने ज़्यादा प्रेवलेंट नहीं है, अगर प्रेवलेंट है तो भी लोग खुल के आगे बोलते नहीं है. बट इफ़ यू लुक एट द वेस्टर्न डेटा, आप वहाँ पे देखोगे किस तरीके के प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं, साइकोपैथ्स होते हैं. आप न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ते ही होगे कि बच्चा गन लेकर आ गया, शूट कर दिया. इट्स वेरी कॉमन अब्रॉड, बिकॉज वहाँ पे गन की लाइसेंस हर किसी को मिल जाती है. बच्चों को तो नहीं, डेफिनेटली एडल्ट को मिल जाती है, पर घर में से उठा लाते हैं. तो वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम है बिकॉज ऑफ पेरेंटल सेपरेशन, डाइवर्सिटी ऑफ कल्चर. इतना मिक्स कल्चर है, नो इंडिया में, बिकॉज सम और समवेयर और द अदर, लाइक द कल्चर जो प्रैक्टिस है वो काफ़ी सिमिलर है. थोड़ा बहुत डिफरेंस आएगा बट फिर भी सिमिलर है. बट इन वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड इट्स टोटली डिफरेंट, और क्योंकि इंटर रेशियल मैरिजेस होती है, अमेरिकन मैरिंग इंडियन, अमेरिकन मैरिंग अफ्रीकन अमेरिकन. So it's very difficult for the child to go through all. Parents having extramarital affair, parents dealing with divorces. It's not easy for them to go through this process. हम बहुत ही somewhere, we should consider ourselves lucky that we have been raised in a very normal environment. But somebody who goes through this kind of stress, जितने भी ये होते हैं, emotional disturbances, जो साइकेट्रिक इलनेस, कहीं ना कहीं उनका कुछ ना कुछ बैकग्राउंड रहा होता है. ऐसे ही नहीं कोई बन जाता है ये सब चीज़ों में. सो नाउ लेट्स लुक एट द हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम्स. न्यूट्रिशनल प्रॉब्लम्स भी बहुत ज़्यादा होती है एडोलसेंस में. सो एक तो रिक्वायरमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा होती है बिकॉज इट्स द पीरियड ऑफ रैपिड ग्रोथ. सो अनीमिया इज prevalent especially in our country, where the lower strata of society, and 56% of adolescent girls, they are anemic. Vitamin A deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, and again anorexia nervosa and bulimia, वो lower strata में नहीं है, that is in the higher strata of society, वो उस पे नहीं आता है because उनको ऐसी सब चीज़ें देखने को नहीं मिलती, खाना ही नहीं मिलता बेचारों को. Then comes the this thing, mental health problems, adjustment disorder होते हैं, anxiety, depression, suicide. Why suicide? It's mentioned there. जिद पकड़ ली. इसको भी अटेंड करनी है क्या? Because of cognitive immaturity, right, and increased impulsivity. Let's go ahead with the other health problems. Sleep disturbances. क्यों होते हैं sleep disturbances? स्कूल जाते हैं तो इसलिए होता है. हाँ? What did you say? स्कूल जाते हैं तो phone. Did you get a phone when you're 11? When you're 12? Did you get your phone? नहीं. तो मैं हुई थी sleep. तो फिर तो कैसे कह रही हो फिर? तुम्हारी बता रही हूँ. Yeah, it's definitely right. School related stress, academic stress. तो जब भी बच्चा 8th 9th 10th में आता है तो डेफिनेटली academic stress तो बढ़ता ही है. So they are sleep deprived. Infections क्यों होते हैं? भाई एडोलसेंट एज ग्रुप में आ गया, घर पे थोड़ा ना बैठा रहेगा, बाहर भी जाएगा, आउटडोर एक्टिविटी भी करेगा, बहुत सारे पीयर ग्रुप से मिलेगा, क्लासेस होंगी, ये होगी, एलन होगा, ये होगा. तो इन्फेक्शन क्यों होंगे? Definitely when you're exposing yourself to outside world, right? Tuberculosis, all kind of parasitic infections, all kind of sexually transmitted disease, because the entire age group is like that, right? फिर substance abuse, वो भी बहुत कॉमन है. एक तो समझ नहीं होती है कि क्या सही है क्या गलत है. अल्कोहल जिसमें सबसे हाईएस्ट है सब्सटेंस, उसके बाद में ओपियम, कोकेन, एवरीथिंग. इंडिया में भी होता है, वो हिडन है. यहाँ पे लोग छुप के करते हैं, बाहर खुलेआम करते हैं, बस यही प्रॉब्लम है. Let's look at the vulnerability of adolescents. So they are very vulnerable to abuse and violence. Abuse, both physical and sexual abuse in young females. So physical is around like 20 to 30%. ये हो सकता है और बढ़ गया हो because मैंने जो ये डेटा लिया ये पुरानी वाली कहीं से, हो सकता है जो नई है उसमें शायद चेंजेस होंगे फिगर में. I don't know if it is. Sexual abuse आप पढ़ते ही होगे 5 to 9% in young female. Migration, why youth trafficking for this thing, why it happens. So, you know, if if we see a 17, 18-year-old child who is, in the 11th, 12th grade, somewhere if छोटी जगह पे पढ़ रहे होते हैं, उनको एक्सेस नहीं होता क्लासेस वगैरह का, तो आ जाते हैं बेचारे कि क्लास अटेंड करेंगे, कहीं ना कहीं संगत ऐसी मिल जाती है कि they go in the wrong direction. You must be seeing, right? Trafficking, youth trafficking for industrial and domestic labor is very common, especially in इंडिया से मिडल ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज़ में बहुत ज़्यादा होता है यूथ ट्रैफिकिंग. टैंकर्स में आपने सुना होगा कैसे कैसे बच्चों को ले जाया जाता है, एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ देन वहाँ पे जाके उनका सारी आइडेंटिटी जो भी होती है, दे कैन नॉट एस्केप फ्रॉम दैट एनवायरनमेंट. डेली डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस, sexual violence, all kind of this thing really happens. If you see the Middle Eastern data, जितने वहाँ पे भी जितने Indians हैं, forget about the adolescent age group. Even if you look at those laborers working in the Middle East, their passport and everything is taken away from them. So even if they want to come back to their own country, it's so difficult for them to come back, you know. And how they are treated there, only they know. How why I know is because I had a lot of friends who were based in Middle East, and they said that this is what happens. जाएंगे कहाँ, सुनाएंगे किसको, आएगा कैसे. Adolescent pregnancy, I think you all know. इंडिया में नहीं, बाहर ज़्यादा होता है. when I was when I was in US, I was settled in US for a couple of years. So my neighbor, she was I think in the 8th or 9th grade, and she used to go to school. She was pregnant. So I used to wonder when I shifted, from India, कि ये क्या है? It was very shocking for me. She used to go to school, and she was like full term pregnant. So I was like wondering ये हो क्या रहा. फिर रोज रात को रोड पे आके she would fight with her boyfriend that you take care of your child, and she would say you take care of your child. अब बेचारा बच्चा, nobody wants to take care of their child. So it's very common abroad. क्योंकि यहाँ पे इंडिया में क्या होता है कि as soon as the parents come to know, they go for abortion or what, पर वहाँ पे तो पेरेंट्स ही नहीं होते आधों के, तो बच्चे ऐसे ही छोड़ दिए जाते हैं. So it actually happens. It's not something कि ये सिर्फ ये डेटा ऐसे ही आ जाता है, but it actually happens. Very very common. In my compound where I was living in Texas, I had almost 2 to 3 teen pregnancies, and it was very shocking for me to see all those things. And they would actually disturb the other people also in the night, fighting in the middle of the road. I actually got up from my sleep, and I kind of peeked from my window what's happening outside. Psychosocial assessment. So all these problems are there, and एक स्केल डेवलप करी है, ब्राइट फ्यूचर स्केल करके एक चीज़ है, जिससे जब भी आपके पास ओपीडी में कोई बच्चा आता है, वो पेरेंट के साथ आया है या कोई केयर टेकर के साथ आया है, कोई रिलेटिव के साथ आया है, अगर वो किसी चीज़ से गुजर रहा है, तो वो कभी भी अपनी प्रॉब्लम बता नहीं पाएगा खुल के. So in those cases, like, we really have to take the child into confidence as to what really is going on with that child, right? So एक scale develop करी है, उसको short form है heads करके. So it's a scale to identify. US में they use that scale. We don't use in our pediatric setting. Identify problems and issues from patient's perspective. Bright Futures material provide questions and patient encounter forms to structure the assessment. So it is known as HEADS. It follows a simple structure remembered by the acronym HEADS. Home, उसमें कई सारे क्वेश्चन होते हैं जो उनको yes no आंसर करने होते हैं. एजुकेशन, एम्प्लॉयमेंट है, एक्टिविटीज़ है, ड्रग्स और ड्रिंकिंग, सेक्स, self-harm, depression and suicide, and safety including social media and online. So I'll just show you the table. Can you see it? So this is the scale that they follow abroad. ये नेल्सन में दिया है, ये घई में नहीं है. And this is how the assessment is done. And this is the end of this boring topic. कितने खुश हो गए सब लोग?